Executive Director of Clearly College Park, the development authority for the City of College Park. And today I'd like to welcome Dr. Stuart Gulley, who is the President of Woodward Academy. How you doing, Dr. Gulley?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me.
All right, great. Well, thanks for coming to visit with me this morning to have a conversation. Now, tell our viewers a little bit about your responsibilities as the President of Woodward Academy.
Well, as President of Woodward, that means I'm the Chief Executive Officer, so the buck stops with me on every issue that we address at the school. But the greater part of my responsibility is to work with 650 plus dedicated employees in fulfilling our mission of educating young people, grades pre-K through 12th grade, approximately 2,500 of them, who come from 23 counties in the Atlanta metropolitan area to our campus.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of responsibility. And when you started off with the 650, I was saying, okay, that's a lower academy or, high school, but that's actually employees. That's not students. So I understand Woodward Academy is, as far as the pecking order, as far as school size, where is Woodward Academy?
So we are the largest independent school in Atlanta and the largest in the continental United States. There are two larger in Hawaii, Kamehameha and Punahou. We're also the oldest independent school in Atlanta. Or in the Atlanta area. We were established in 1900 as Georgia Military Academy, right here in College Park. We have occupied the same land where we were established at that time. Of course, we've grown over time. And now we operate out of 4 distinct schools, pre-K through 12th grade.
Okay.
We have a primary school, grades pre-K through 3rd grade, that's located in the historic College Park neighborhood right next to Barrett Park. Then 3 of our schools, the lower school, grades 4 through 6, the middle school, grades 7 and 8, and the upper school, grades 9 through 12, all are in the historic location of where Woodward was started on Rugby Avenue.
Okay.
And then we have a 5th campus, which we call Woodward North, which was established in 1990 in Johns Creek. It's a pre-K through 6th grade program that has about 250 students enrolled there. Okay. And a number of those students, when they graduate in 6th grade, they come to the main campus for the rest of their education.
All right. Wow. Yes. I mean, I've arrived here in College Park about 5.5 years ago, and Woodward Academy has always had a significant footprint within the city, not just as far as buildings, but just as far as being involved in a number of organizations. I drive by the restaurants, I see the Woodward Academy umbrellas. I mean, what's you guys are very, I guess, friendly within the community. You're very supportive. Tell me a little bit about the goals of Woodward Academy, not just being the largest private school to educate students, but being involved within the community.
Well, certainly we take our relationship to the community of College Park very seriously. Curiously, a part of our campus is in College Park, the vast majority of it, and a smaller portion is located in East Point.
Yes.
But we have felt that we have been strong partners with these cities since our founding in 1900, and in large measure who we are today is the support that we have received from the citizens of College Park. And so we see it as our duty to give back to the community. We are a private school, but we also have an important public purpose to make a difference in the community where we're located. And so we attempt to reach out in a variety of ways. We have the Jesse Draper Boys and Girls Club located right on our campus. We rent the facility to them for $1 a year. We help them raise about $40,000 toward their operating budget every year, and we make our facilities available to their students when they have need for them, and we don't need to use them. And a number of our students volunteer in the afternoons over at Jesse Draper. So that's an example an important community relationship that we try to maintain. We also have the Horizons program, which is going on right now during the summer months for a 6-week period. We take students from the area public elementary schools, pre-K through up through 8th grade, and help them with persistence in their education.
Okay.
We have a strong academic focus, we do field trips, and we teach the children how to swim during that time. So we are appreciative of what the community of College Park has done to support Woodward over time, and we hope that we're making a difference in our effort to give back and to make a difference for the community.
Okay. Yeah, I have two young ones that actually attended the Jesse Draper Boys and Girls Club after school program when we first moved here, and I mean they loved it. And yeah, as you said, there's always Woodward kids there doing tutorials throughout the summer. During the Christmas time, they have a huge Christmas get-together, field trips. I mean, you guys are very, very, like I said, involved in the community, and I've seen it firsthand. So we appreciate your leadership, and we appreciate all that Woodward does for the city of College Park. Now, tell me, prior to Woodward Academy, tell me a little bit about your background, where you've come from, how did you get here to become the president of Woodward Academy?
As I like to say, they were desperate, and so they took the first person they could find. I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
Was fortunate to have 2 parents who were very dedicated to education and the church. I attended Vanderbilt University, got my undergraduate degree in modern European history, which meant I had to get a master's degree. And so I came to Emory to the Candler School of Theology, earned a Master of Divinity degree, thinking at the time that I would become a pastor of local United Methodist churches. But along the way, I felt like my call in ministry was more toward education.
Okay.
So I worked at Emory for 10 years in a variety of administrative capacities, and during that time earned a PhD in higher education from Georgia State University.
Wow.
And in 1996, went to LaGrange College in LaGrange, Georgia, just an hour southwest from here, the oldest private college in the state of Georgia, and served as president there for 13 years.
Wow.
We had a wonderful experience there, but after 13 years, it felt like it was time to make a change, and we had 2 sons who at the time were in grades 4 and 6, and we were looking for the next educational opportunity for them. It happened that Woodward was looking for a new president, and the search firm reached out to me, and the board chair at the time, who's a man named Ben Johnson, contacted me. I'd known him from my Emory days, and really just as a favor to him came to look at the campus because I always thought that I would be in higher education. But I came, was greatly impressed with what I saw, with the people I met, and Woodward in its size, scope, and operation is as large or larger than most small private liberal arts colleges in the United States.
Yeah.
So when the offer was extended for me to come here, it just felt like a new professional opportunity for me and an opportunity to provide an education for our sons that we wouldn't have been able to provide for them if we had remained where we were. So now I am just a few days away from completing my 10th year at Woodward, which I cannot believe I've been here an entire decade. But it has been a wonderful experience professionally and personally. My wife and I live here in the community of College Park. We're a mile from the campus, so we have a wonderful commute, live in a small cul-de-sac with great neighbors, and we worship at College Park First United Methodist Church, which has been a part of our faith tradition and experience, and we're very proud of the work that that church is doing and the contribution it's making here in the community.
Okay. Well, yeah, we're neighbors. We're about a block away from each other, and yes, I do. I love living in the city of College Park. Also, it's just a great community, great neighbors. Everyone looks out for everyone. I love the parks, the walkability, and just the overall the small town feel. Yet at the same time, you have the busiest, most traveled airport in the world in your backyard, literally.
Right.
Yeah. Well, tell me this. We're going to switch hats for a moment. We've talked about the job that you get paid in. Now, let's talk about all the many jobs that you don't get paid at, but at the same time, your investment, I guess you get a good feeling out of being involved in the community and exercising your leadership. Let's talk about the Aerotropolis. understand that you are the chairman of the Aerotropolis, your current chairman, and you have been there since its inception. Talk to me a little bit about the Aerotropolis and what do you see as the goals of the Aerotropolis, and kind of, I guess it coincides with your goal, Woodward's goal in a
Right.
way. So
Right.
expound on that.
Well, I mentioned earlier that Woodward is fortunate to be able to attract students from a large geographic reach. We manage that commute for a lot of our families by owning our own bus company. We transport 600 students a day, going to 36 different routes around the city of Atlanta, and we have about 400 students a day who come by MARTA. But one of the things that we have been hearing increasingly as a concern from families when they think about Woodward as a possibility for their education is that they aren't certain that they can manage anymore the commute. With the growing traffic challenges that Atlanta is facing, it's a longer and longer drive to get here, and the traffic is not always predictable. So one of the things that I have been mindful of is that Woodward's future depends upon this area around the airport developing as a live, work, play community.
Right.
And so in 2014, when the Atlanta Regional Commission reached out to area businesses and corporations and nonprofits and educational entities like Woodward and said, we would like to sort of serve as a convener to bring you all together for conversation about how we might take the great economic hub that the airport represents and use it as a catalyst for attracting more industry and corporations and business to the area, but also people to live and play in the area as well. And I was greatly inspired by that opportunity. And so, like so many others, Delta, Porsche, Chick-fil-A, Prologis, and many others that I could name, we all came together, started meeting on a monthly basis, and it's been very gratifying to see how the Aerotropolis effort has evolved over the last 5 years to the point now that we have our own great president and CEO in Shannon James. We've just hired an associate director of the program who is going to be offering great help and support to Shannon and his work. And we are really focused right now in working with the area jurisdictions, all of the cities, the counties, the chambers of commerce that make up this area, to try to not compete against one another, which I think has been the narrative that has driven the work that's happened around here, and try to cooperate more with each other. And so by being the convener of the economic developers and the mayors and others who work in these jurisdictions and say, let's really look at a common purpose and goal for the Aerotropolis, knowing that what one of us might get, we all win from that as a result. And it has just been greatly heartening to me that we have had complete buy-in from the partners in the area. And I am very bullish on what might happen in this area in the next 5 to 10 years if the level of cooperation continues, the economy remains strong, and we have success in really telling the story of this area to prospective developers and investors.
Right. Well, in my experience over, I guess, the last 20 years in economic development, for there to be a truly impactful economic environment, you need as much push from the private sector as you need from the public sector. Lots of times the public sector can't do certain things, and the public sector seems to move slow. At the same time, the private sector, there's a lot of things that the private sector would like to do, but they can't move forward without the public sector providing the environment to move projects forward. And then I think what is key and what the Aerotropolis provides, the Aerotropolis Alliance provides, is that there is a bridge of communications and working together. And that hasn't always happened between the public sector and the private sector, and even the public sector with the public sector in most cases. So I can remember when it was first starting up about 2013, before it was officially, the Aerotropolis was officially set up, but it was kind of a herding process. And a lot of the communities had to really kind of get their eyes or their arms around, this is my competitor, but at the same time, we are working together. I think that, all of them all the communities embraced the Aerotropolis and the environment that it has, that has come as a result of the collaborations. And I think that also it gave the opportunity for the public sector and the private sector to talk, because the only time that, the private sector would talk to an economic development person like myself was, okay, I'm thinking about relocating because I can't find employees, or the only time I would contact them, the public sector would contact the private sector and say, your taxes are due, or, we're going to increase the millage rate. So it was kind of, we were always giving each other bad news. Now we have an opportunity to get together and kind of talking about some of the wins. And telling our story. And that brings me to my next question, or my next statement that's somewhat of a question. For some time, the city of College Park has been, it has received a kind of a bad rap, bad reputation for numerous reasons, and some true, some not true. I truly believe that for College Park and the South Metro area, that we need to take over our narrative, and we need to tell our story. And that's one of the reasons for this Clearly College Park podcast, is for us to tell our story and get it straight from the horse's mouth, as opposed to Channel 2 News, Channel 5, 11, and a number of media outlets that are out there. So how important, you were our keynote speaker 2 years ago for the Clearly College Park annual awards banquet, and that's when we finally unveiled our new brand, which is Clearly College Park, Land in Plain Sight. How important is it for us to tell our own story versus letting outside entities tell it for us?
Absolutely critical. That's another reason why I was honored to be asked to speak at that occasion and to accept the invitation, and for the investment that we're making in the Aerotropolis and the Community Improvement District's efforts as well. One of the great challenges we have faced at Woodward in attracting families to come to us is the perception, wrongly in my view, that College Park is not a safe community. And I have longed for a way to explain that College Park has sort of two parts to it, and that where we're located in the historic neighborhood is not the place where murders and the really tragic instances are occurring. Certainly we have crime, but everywhere in Atlanta has got crime, car break-ins and cars being stolen and that kind of thing. So I wouldn't be naive to say that doesn't happen in the historic neighborhood. But whenever I would turn on the TV at night and I would hear that there had been a murder or a rape or something, I would say, please, please, please don't let it be in College Park, because I didn't want that just to kind of reinforce in the minds of the rest of Atlanta that College Park is unsafe. So I think us, as you suggested, taking control of the narrative, telling our story, making people aware that College Park has got great things going on, and it's not the unsafe community that people perceive it to be, is absolutely essential for our future, and again is a reason why Woodward is so committed to supporting this effort.
Okay. Yeah, and the thing is that even in some of those areas of College Park where, some heinous crimes have actually occurred, College Park, the police department, along with the CIDs and their law enforcement arm, they have tackled the problem. We've been working with private developers in areas like the old National Godby Road area to purchase a lot of these old dilapidated apartment complexes, totally strip them out. They're adding ceramic tile, new fixtures, just cutting, basically, stripping them down to the studs. And bringing new clientele in there, new families into these areas, and they're increasing the rental rates, and they have a waiting list. So there's a lot of good stuff that's going on. We're removing a lot of those ignoble impulses from out of the community. You know, I always look at law enforcement. Law enforcement is not necessarily, it keeps honest people honest, but at the times when you do have those ignoble impulses that want to break into a car or something, you know, of course, we're going to have those instances, but I feel that College Park is second to none when it comes to law enforcement and safety. And even in some of those areas that were once crime-ridden, they've been cleaned up significantly. And I know any crime is bad crime, but we are, you know, College Park is really taking a stance, and we're not we're not taking that knee-jerk reaction. We're being very, very we're getting in front of the problem before it happens.
Right. If I might add, Artie, you know, Woodward has the equivalent of a small police force as well. We have 9 fully armed officers, 2 who are part-time. Those 9 are full-time. And they work very collaboratively with the College Park Police Department. I'm very proud of the relationship they have. We share our cameras with the city of College Park so that if something did happen on campus, the police in College Park would have it immediately. But the effort that is being spearheaded through the CIDs as well, I think, has just done nothing but strengthen the sense of safety and security in the area. Not just the sense of it, but the reality of it in terms of really addressing the crime issues and getting them under control.
Right. And drilling down even more now, we're going to talk about some development within the city of College Park. You're aware of the new arena that's under construction, where that'll be the home of the College Park Skyhawks, the G League team for the Atlanta Hawks. We have several hotels that are under construction as well as under contract within the city of College Park. We have the brand new parking deck that's being erected by the city of Atlanta, Department of Aviation. Approximately 5,500 space parking deck, 2.5 football fields in length and about 5 or 6 stories high. And then we have, you know, other projects like the Airport City that's somewhat in its infancy, but we're starting the infrastructure work. What type of impact do you think that these projects will have within College Park over the next 5 to 10 years? I remember you were talking about, you know, talking with Woodward Academy and their future development and their survival and them being able to expand, but that we needed to get our hands around development where College Park was a live, work, play community. Do you think what we're doing right now is moving in the right direction?
Absolutely. It's a game changer. I'm so excited about the proposed Airport City project, along with the efforts of what's happening across Camp Creek Parkway over the GICC with the arena and the other things that you just described. Woodward was a participant along with other people in the community with the Sizemore Group looking at what the Airport City should include, and there are a lot of wonderful amenities that are the kinds of things that I believe will attract Woodward-type families to purchase homes in the area and to live in this community. One of the things that the Sizemore Group included in the plan for Airport City is a 5K cross-country track. I had mentioned to them in the exploration phase that we didn't have a place that we felt comfortable where our cross-country team could really get their workout on particularly for practicing. And so if that comes to pass, that will be another wonderful benefit for Woodward Academy. But I think it has all the right things that are being anticipated and promoted to really attract Woodward families and non-Woodward families to live in the area.
Okay. Yeah, it's the master plan. Like I said, I feel that it embraces all that the city of College Park would like to what we want to have here presently and what we would like to work towards. Talk to me about, I guess, the future growth of Woodward Academy. I know that you said you're at 2,600 students now, 650 staff. Are you looking at expanding any more within the city of College Park? And kind of what are those plans?
Yeah. So we are at a comfortable enrollment. We are not anticipating that we are going to grow anymore. In fact, the trends would suggest nationally that as the result of the economic downturn, we have the lowest fertility rate in the history of the United States. So there are literally fewer children who will be going to school in the future than at any point in recent memory. And that's not only going to impact the public sector or public education, but private education as well. So if anything, we're probably going to see a drop in our enrollment that we're going to control and make certain that we're directing our efforts in all the ways that we historically have done and are providing a quality education to the students who choose us. So to the extent that there is growth, it would be more from a capital standpoint, facilities.
Right.
And we're fortunate that from about 2000 up until about 2015, there were significant investments, over $80 million worth of investment by Woodward Academy in either renovating or building new facilities.
Wow.
So that the primary school is less than 10 years old, the middle school is right at 10 years old, the lower school is maybe 12 or 13 years old. We have brand new facilities at the upper school that are less than 5 years old.
Wow.
So one thing that is on the horizon for us that we would like to have is a state-of-the-art performing arts center.
Okay.
That would be a place where we can have collaboration, particularly for our band, orchestra, and choral groups, and dance as well. And so we have a campaign underway right now to try to secure the funds for that. We'll, at the time that it's appropriate, be talking about in a much more public manner than I am right now to try to engage others in helping us raise the approximately $30 million that will be required for the facility.
Wow, cool. All right. Well, jumping back to the Airport City project, within the Airport City, we have a lot of Class A office. I think it's about 3.2 million square feet of Class A office, and we're trying to attract a corporate tenant to be a part of that. Lots of times when I work with corporations, one thing they ask me about, top priority for their employees, is their children's education. Right. If someone were looking to attend Woodward Academy, or how would they be able to do that? What are the steps, and where can they find more about Woodward Academy, more information?
So they can go to our website, woodward.edu, and they will have everything there that they need that can tell them about the history and the current offerings of Woodward. There's information about our tuition and fees, how to apply for financial aid if they need financial aid. Application will be found there in the timeline for our application process. And then, of course, if people just happen to be out and about and they want to come to the campus and roam around and have sort of a private tour on their own and check out the campus, we welcome that. But we also have families who make appointments with us and come in for an interview, and we give them a tour that's appropriate for the school that they are most interested in at Woodward. But we would welcome the opportunity to talk to any families that think that Woodward might be a good fit for them.
Right. Well, I do a lot of tours. I feel that College Park is a diamond in the rough, and the thing is that I don't really have to sell it, that once I get somebody here, College Park sells itself. On the tour that I do, which is about 45 minutes, it starts at City Hall and ends at City Hall. I go to the Historic District first. I talk to them about, Cox College and Georgia Military, College, and just I take them to, down Rugby, Lower Academy. I go to Woodward's, Upper Academy, and it's just like they're in awe. Woodward Academy sells the city of College Park. It's a big part of the sale, and I like I said, there's a education to me is very, very important. I have 5 kids. 2 of them are, I should say, out of the house. One's still in school, but it was paramount when I moved here to the city of College Park that my kids had a great education like the one that they were receiving in Southeast Georgia. So your education, having an educational facility like Woodward Academy in the city of College Park is a major sell, and it's kind of, it's a part of the closing paperwork in most cases whenever I sit down with corporate entities. So thank you for all that you do as being the leadership at Woodward Academy, and also thank you for what you're doing within the Aerotropolis and this area. And kind of name off some of the awards that you've received over the years. I mean, I've seen you in the Atlanta Business Chronicle for numerous acknowledgments, awards, for being parts of organizations. But I want to give our viewers just kind of a without looking at your bio, just some of the things that you've been involved with and the influence that you have.
Well, I think the thing that I'm most proud of is that about 9 years ago, the Atlanta Journal and Constitution started a competition, I guess you would describe, for top workplace. And they have 3 categories of small, medium, and large workplace. We are in the large workplace category because we have more than 500 employees. And the way that they assess and evaluate the effectiveness of the work that employees are doing is by surveying the employees and asking them questions about how they feel about where they work, how they feel about management, how well respected and valued they feel that they are. And in each of the 9 years that the program has been in existence, we have rated either number 1 or number 2.
Wow.
4 years we've been number 1, 5 years we've been number 2, along with the likes of Alston and Bird and the Cancer Treatment Centers of America down in Noonan. Some pretty heady competition that we have had, but I think it speaks to the historic commitment that Woodward has made in investing in its employees, not just financially. I mean, we want our employees to have a reasonable wage and good benefits, and I think they tell us that they feel like that they are adequately compensated for what they do, but to really feel like that they are in an environment where they are valued and appreciated, and that they are participating in something that is larger than themselves, and that they are making a difference for the lives of the young people that they are helping to educate, who in turn are going to go into the world and make their own contributions and make a difference for the world. So I guess I would cite that from a resume standpoint and from Woodward's standpoint particularly as the thing that we have great pride in, and we certainly, when we're looking to hire folks, we talk about the fact that we are a top workplace and share with them our story and what they can anticipate and expect when they come and work for us.
Okay. Well, great. Well, do you have any closing comments for our viewers?
Well, other than just to indicate that I'm very proud of the work that you're doing, Artie. I think this community is very blessed and very fortunate to have you in this role. We did not have great stability in the ED role before you came, and you have really just taken the bull by the horns, and while it's not always been easy, you have been determined, and I commend you for helping to move us to a really significant new opportunity for the area. So I would just want anyone listening not only to know about how much we all value and appreciate you, but that we are very excited about the future of College Park and would love for people who are thinking about either living here or making some kind of investment in the community that now's the time to join us.
All right. Well, thank you. I'm truly humbled to be able to work with yourself and people of your caliber. And thank you for, lots of times you don't, it's almost, you hear about things like this I guess you don't hear about it because you're dead, but you hear about the positive things after somebody has passed on, but it's really good to get it, while I'm above the ground. So thank you, Dr. Gulley, for your leadership and all that you do. And I would like to thank our viewers for visiting with us today at Clearly College Park Podcast. And we look forward to talking with you really soon. And remember that Clearly College Park is where you will land in the